You've heard the stories about genies and magic lamps. Well, let me tell you a tale about a genie and a girl who saved a kingdom with a little help from a very special necklace. Deep within the Emerald Forest lived Princess Samara of the Sky Kingdom. She was a curious girl, loved exploring the forest outside her palace walls. One day, she stumbled upon an old, ornately carved lamp hidden under some roots. Thinking it might make a great addition to her collection of forest treasures, she picked it up, and as soon as her fingers brushed against its surface, a plume of purple smoke erupted, and out stepped a beautiful woman with gossamer wings and eyes that shone like amethysts. As a token of my gratitude for setting me free, I will grant you 3 wishes, said the genie. But Samara looked closely at the genie. She wasn't sure she wanted her help. Instead, she returned the lamp to its hiding place and went home. When her royal advisor, a regal woman named Calista, learned of the genie's gift, she was outraged. 3 wishes are no small matter, child, she scolded, and you must choose them wisely. So Samara decided to ask the wise old tree spirit named Willow for advice. What should I wish for? She asked. Willow rustled her leaves thoughtfully. The best gifts are those that come from the heart. And with that cryptic guidance, Samara went back to her room to ponder her choices. Meanwhile, the genie paced impatiently inside the lamp. She had been trapped for centuries, and Samara's hesitation was driving her crazy. If only she could convince the princess to make a wish, she would have her freedom and the power that came with it, and she had just the plan to make that happen. The moment Samara wished for the lamp, the genie had become invisible to her unless Samara wore the necklace the genie had given her, and Samara hadn't noticed that detail until now. With newfound determination, Samara put on the necklace. It was cool against her skin and shimmered with an inner light. Now she could see the genie pacing inside the lamp. And when their eyes met, the genie pleaded, "Please, princess, let me grant your wishes. Just ask, and you shall receive." Samara hesitated. The genie seemed sad. "If it's what you desire most," she said slowly, "to be free, then I shall make that my first wish." "Oh, kind princess, how can I ever thank you?" the genie cried as she shot out of the lamp, soaring around Samara in joyous circles. Then she disappeared in a swirl of purple smoke. Samara looked down at the empty lamp and sighed. She knew whatever else she wished for, it wouldn't truly be her own doing. With a flick of the genie's magic, the sky darkened as though a storm were brewing, and there, in the distance, silhouetted against the bruised clouds, stood a castle, large and imposing. "My dear Samara," a rich voice boomed, "you have done well to call me." Walking closer, Samara saw that the stranger was a handsome man with steely grey eyes and a confident stride. His presence radiated power, and Samara couldn't help but feel a flutter in her chest. "I am Cassian," he continued, taking her hand, "and you have released me from my prison, which means I owe you a debt of gratitude, an opportunity I intend to collect." And with that ominous warning, he vanished. Calista rushed to Samara's side, her face pale. "Cassian," she gasped, "he is the Shadow Lord, banished from our realm for trying to steal the sky crystal." Before Samara could respond, the ground trembled beneath their feet. From outside, they heard shouts and the clatter of weapons. "I brought reinforcements," said Calista grimly, gesturing to the armed guardsmen standing behind her. Together, they hurried to the throne room where Samara's parents awaited. The king and queen of the Sky Kingdom, Lord Arion and Queen Celeste, were noble figures whose love for their people shone in their every move. "Mother, father," Samara called out, rushing to greet them. The king embraced her, his expression troubled. "We know why you summoned us, my love," Queen Celeste said softly, her gaze meeting Callista's. "You've seen the Shadow Lord?" "Yes, and he seeks the sky crystal to shroud our realm in eternal darkness." King Aryan tightened his grip on his wife's shoulder. "It's a great honor, Your Majesty," he said to Calista, "but we must trust Samara to protect the crystal. After all, it was passed down to her." He turned to Samara, whose face was resolute, though only a teenager. His daughter had shown wisdom beyond her years. "Go now," he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "May the sky crystal guide you." Samara and Calista exchanged a solemn nod. Then the two of them took off, guided by Samara's innate connection with the crystal hidden in her necklace. Deep within the Shadow Lord's castle, Cassio strolled along a balcony overlooking the stormy sea below. In his hand he held a swirling orb of pure darkness. As he watched, the skies crackled with energy, and with a cruel smile he plunged the orb into a gaping crack in the clouds above the Sky Kingdom. With a final roar of thunder, the storm broke over the land. Unfazed, Samara and Calista pressed on, weaving through shadowy trees. They had to reach the Whispering Grove before the Shadow Lord did. It was here that the sky crystal drew its power. Suddenly, a dark figure dropped from a tree onto the path in front of them. "Sorry to keep you waiting," Samara drawled a familiar voice. It was Caspian. Beside him stood several cloaked rogues, each one more menacing than the last. But Samara knew fear. She squared her shoulders and raised her chin. "I won't let you take the crystal, Caspian," she vowed. But Caspian merely laughed. "So brave, so noble," he said sarcastically. "But why fight? You could rule beside me in the new kingdom." He stepped closer, and for a moment Samara felt a flicker of temptation. The prospect of ruling beside such a powerful man was enticing. But seeing the hurt look on Callista's face, Samara knew she couldn't betray her people. With a shake of her head, Samara chose her duty. The battle that followed was fierce. The rogues attacked in waves, but Calista fought back with the skill of a seasoned warrior. Meanwhile, Caspian circled Samara, taunting her, trying to distract her. Finally, the coast was clear. Samara and Calista raced to the Whispering Grove, reaching it just as the sun dipped below the horizon. Exhausted, breathless, Samara sank to her knees before the ancient tree that housed the crystal. She closed her eyes, reaching out to its comforting energy, whispering, "Guide me." When she opened her eyes, the crystal glowed brightly. It floated from the tree, forming a swirling shield of pure white light around them. Caspian watched from the edge of the grove with burning eyes. "So the little princess has found her toy," he snarled. "Let's see if it can save her from me." As he stepped forward, the crystal shield flared, sending sparks of light flying. The clash of magic shook the very foundations of the forest. The crystal unleashed bolts of lightning that cracked across the sky. But Caspian was relentless, pushing forward despite the searing pain. Then Samara remembered what the tree spirit had told her. The best gifts are those that come from the heart. Suddenly, Samara understood. The true power of the sky crystal didn't lie in its ability to destroy, but in its capacity to heal. Taking a deep breath, Samara focused her thoughts on healing the wounds that plagued the forest, tending to its aches and pains. The crystal responded, showering the forest with warm light and mending broken branches and wilted flowers. As Caspian watched, stunned, the forest around them thrived. Animals returned. Birds sang, and the very earth seemed to rejoice. The sky crystal flew back to Samara, embedding itself in her necklace. Weak and disoriented, Caspian slumped to his knees. As the forest's magic washed over him, his body began to glow. And when the light faded, he was gone, replaced by a small, intricately carved box. Breathless, Samara approached it hesitantly. As she reached out to touch it, the box opened, revealing a magnificent silver bird. With a soft chirp, it rose from the box and landed on Samara's outstretched arm. Looking back, Samara saw that the forest was healing, returning to its former glory. She knew then that Caspian was gone, vanquished by the very magic he'd tried to wield. And as the sun peeked over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and rose, Samara rode atop the silver bird, soaring above her beloved forest. She knew that as long as she cherished the sky crystal and the lessons it taught, the kingdom would forever be safe.